When most people think of Easter, they picture church services, egg hunts, and chocolate bunnies. But behind the pastel colors and smiling rabbits hides a history full of scandals, pagan roots, and bizarre twists. Many of today's beloved Easter traditions have nothing to do with Christianity. Some come from ancient fertility cults, others were created purely for profit, and a few have even sparked national controversies. From drunken brunches to sexy Jesus contests, Easter is far stranger and more shocking than most realize. Number 1. The strange case of egg rolling bans and anti-gambling laws. In the 19th century, egg rolling was considered scandalous enough to warrant legal bans in parts of America. Cities like Washington, D.C., and New York saw children roll eggs on public lawns, causing damage and chaos. In 1876, Congress passed legislation banning egg rolling on Capitol grounds, prompting President Hayes to relocate the activity to the White House lawn 2 years later. The real shock? Egg rolling was linked to gambling. In some communities, adults bet on whose egg would roll the farthest or survive the longest, effectively turning Easter into a gambling event. Local ministers and temperance activists decried these games of chance as sinful. Even today, echoes of this scandal persist in church warnings against trivializing sacred holidays. What started as a children's game was once deemed a moral threat. Number 2. The Easter Bunny, a pagan fertility symbol in disguise. Few realize that the beloved Easter Bunny is nowhere mentioned in the Bible. In fact, the rabbit was originally a pagan fertility symbol associated with the Germanic goddess Easter, or Ostra. The earliest written record comes from the 8th century English monk Bede, who claimed that pagans celebrated Eos Trey in April. Rabbits were sacred to Eos Trey due to their astonishing reproductive abilities. German immigrants later brought the Osterhase, Easter hare, to America in the 1700s. Their tradition involved children making nests for the hare to lay colored eggs, symbolizing fertility and new life. Shockingly, the church long opposed the rabbit as a pagan relic, but by the late 19th century, American commercial culture fully embraced it. Easter has become one of the most commercialized holidays in America, and the rabbit is its ambassador, wrote historian Lee Eric Schmidt. What began as a symbol of pagan rituals ended up on millions of chocolate wrappers and greeting cards, leaving its religious critics in disbelief. Number 3. The Hunky Jesus contest, Easter or blasphemy? Since the early 1990s, San Francisco's annual Hunky Jesus contest, organized by the drag activist group Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, has been one of the most controversial Easter traditions in America. Held every Easter Sunday at Dolores Park, contestants dressed as provocative, often half-naked versions of Jesus compete for the title of Hunky Jesus, alongside the equally notorious Foxy Mary contest. The Sisters, founded in 1979, are known for using religious imagery to promote LGBTQ+ rights and critique social injustice, but the event has drawn harsh criticism from Christian groups. In 1999, the Catholic Archdiocese of San Francisco condemned it as comparable to a neo-Nazi rally during Passover, igniting national headlines. Defenders argue that the contest highlights hypocrisy and promotes acceptance, but to critics, it is pure blasphemy. Despite protests, the event attracts thousands annually. Sister Roma, one of the group's leaders, insists, "We're not mocking faith, but those who use it to marginalize." Yet for many, the idea of turning Easter into a satire remains deeply offensive. Number 4. The origin of Easter eggs, a blend of paganism and medieval meat bans. While churches today bless baskets of colorful eggs, their roots are neither Christian nor innocent. Eggs have symbolized life and rebirth since ancient times, particularly in Persian and Slavic spring festivals. Early Christians adapted this custom but added a twist during the Middle Ages when the church prohibited eating eggs during Lent, 40 days before Easter. However, hens kept laying, and by Easter, households had a surplus. The faithful boiled or baked them to avoid waste. The shocking twist? Many dyed the eggs blood red to symbolize the crucifixion, an eerie reminder of Christ's sacrifice. The custom was widespread by the 13th century. In the US, German immigrants in Pennsylvania popularized egg dyeing in the 18th century. Today, Americans spend over $1.5 billion annually on Easter candy, much of it egg-shaped, without knowing the strange mix of paganism, medieval fasting rules, and folklore behind it. Number 5. The commercial takeover, Easter as America's $24 billion business. Easter might be about resurrection in church, but in stores, it's about profit. By 2023, Americans were spending approximately $24 billion on Easter-related purchases, according to the National Retail Federation. Chocolate bunnies, pastel-colored candies, plastic grass, gift baskets, and plastic eggs dominate store shelves. Ironically, the tradition of giving chocolate eggs began in France and Germany in the 19th century, but American companies like Hershey's and Cadbury rapidly commercialized it. Cadbury even revolutionized Easter with the Cadbury cream egg in 1963. By the 21st century, religious leaders criticized the holiday's rampant materialism. Reverend Billy Graham once warned, "Easter is not about bunnies, but about an empty tomb." Despite the outcry, candy companies rake in billions every spring. Most Americans today associate Easter more with marshmallow peeps and chocolate than with resurrection. Number 6. Easter witchcraft in Sweden and Finland. Perhaps one of the strangest Easter traditions comes from Scandinavia, where children dress as witches, Påskeringor in Sweden, and go door to door for candy, similar to Halloween. The tradition dates back to ancient beliefs that witches would fly to Blakulla, Blue Mountain, during Holy Week to meet the devil. Swedish and Finnish families even light bonfires to ward off evil spirits. Shockingly, despite its dark roots, the tradition is accepted as a harmless children's activity. Yet, religious groups have criticized it as promoting paganism. In 2012, a bishop of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Finland called the practice deeply problematic, but locals fiercely defended it. "It's just fun for the kids," said Finnish mother Helena Virtanen. Still, few realize they are enacting a pre-Christian folk ritual when they hand out candy to pint-sized witches on Easter. Number 7. Easter parades, from pagan processions to Vanity Fair. In New York City, the Easter parade is an iconic tradition, but its origins are anything but Christian. Parades associated with springtime fertility rituals can be traced back to ancient Rome and even earlier. By the 19th century, wealthy New Yorkers began strolling Fifth Avenue in their finest clothes after church services on Easter Sunday. Newspapers dubbed it the Vanity Fair of the Gilded Age. Shockingly, the event had little to do with religion and much to do with showing off wealth and social status. In 1890, Harper's Weekly commented, "Easter is not so much the celebration of Christ, as it is the worship of fine clothes." Even today, while crosses are present, elaborate hats, extravagant outfits, and secular floats dominate. The scandal? Many churches criticized the parade as an example of Christian hypocrisy, but the tradition persists, now attracting tourists more interested in Instagrammable hats than sacred rites. Number 8. The resurrection of alcohol, Boozy American Easter brunches. While Lent traditionally involves abstaining from alcohol, American Easter has embraced the opposite. By the late 20th century, Easter brunch became synonymous with mimosas, Bloody Marys, and champagne. Shockingly, some churches even began offering boozy brunches after sunrise services, sparking outrage among more conservative Christians. A 2014 article in Christianity Today warned about the secularization and intoxication of holy days. In cities like New Orleans and New York, restaurants advertise Easter with phrases like resurrection and bottomless mimosas. The scandal is not just about alcohol but about the holiday's transformation from solemn to indulgent. "It's less about the tomb and more about the buffet," joked Pastor Mike Glenn. Yet, Easter brunch remains a profitable tradition, with Americans spending nearly $6 billion on Easter meals and drinks annually, according to the National Restaurant Association. Number 9. Australian Easter, the Great Bunny Ban and the Rise of the Bilby. In Australia, rabbits are considered pests, responsible for devastating native ecosystems since their introduction in 1859. By the late 20th century, environmentalists began campaigning against the Easter bunny, branding it an invasive species mascot. In 1991, the Foundation for Rabbit-Free Australia promoted the Easter bilby, a native, endangered marsupial with large ears. Chocolate bilbies replaced bunnies in many stores. The scandal? Chocolate companies like Cadbury initially resisted the shift due to the international appeal of the bunny but were eventually pressured into producing chocolate bilbies. Some Christian leaders were outraged by what they saw as environmentalists hijacking Easter. Yet, others saw the irony of celebrating life and renewal with an animal destroying the continent's ecosystem. As of today, the bilby is an official Easter symbol down under, although chocolate bunnies still stubbornly hold market share. Number 10. White House Easter egg roll, politics, scandals, and controversies. Since 1878, the White House Easter egg roll has been a hallmark of presidential Easter celebrations. But this seemingly innocent event has been laced with scandals and awkward moments. The tradition began under President Rutherford B. Hayes after Congress banned children from rolling eggs on the Capitol lawn. Over the years, First Ladies like Eleanor Roosevelt used it for social causes, while Nancy Reagan used it to promote her anti-drug campaign. However, the most scandalous moments came during more recent years. In 2006, the event sparked a political storm when LGBT families attended, openly defying the Bush administration's conservative stance. "Family is about love, not gender," said Jennifer Chrysler, executive director of the Family Equality Council, as rainbow flags were quietly distributed. In 2017, President Trump forgot to mention the event during his Easter remarks, causing headlines like "Trump Forgets Easter, CNN." From policy battles to protocol blunders, the White House egg roll has been far from a simple kids' game.